الأمانة. الأمانة حملها، رفضت حملها الجبال والسماوات والأرض، فحملها الإنسان. There's no equivalent word in English to describe the meaning of Amana. The best that I can come up with is that it's a level of entrustment that was asked from the heavens and earth, and both refused the responsibility. So humankind bore it upon their shoulders and carried the Amana. The Amana I come to you with today is one that is a calling, and it was a calling long before I ever realized it to be. Venture outside your labels of comfort, be proud of who you are, and help people who are different from you to make this world a better place. Let's pause here for a bit, and let me tell you how I came to find myself in this story of Amana across the ages. When I was 13, growing up in a little village nestled between the hills of North Jerusalem called Bir Nabela, I couldn't have been removed or more removed from my current reality or the current state that I live in today. Suddenly, I found myself in a yellow cab in New York City with this old man with this white beard staring back at me from the rearview mirror. He turned around to me and said, "You will travel somewhere very far one day, and you will do something so incredibly great that you will change the world." In that moment, I felt so intense. I took a deep breath, and my eyes opened. That dream stayed with me. The intense feeling resulting from it followed me till today. To put this in perspective for you, there was no real reason for me to believe that I would ever leave our little town. Our world was built within tightened circles of existence, and I was used to that. But that old cabbie with that white beard just stayed with me. He had delivered me a message that was beyond any border or timeline. My horizon instantly expanded, and the search began. When you believe, you achieve. Every time I step into a new experience and extend my horizon of service and community engagement, I think, is this what the cabbie was talking about? In 2004, my family decided to move back to the US. It was my first year in high school. What were my parents thinking? When my mother told me that we were leaving to the US, I saw her face in the rearview mirror. Going through high school was interesting, honestly. I hung out with every group there was. Honestly, I just wanted to find myself. I wanted to see where I fit in. Where does my role begin? The only big thing that I did in high school was change the perspective of a few hundred kids. I treated people with respect. I treated them with the way I wanted to be treated. And in return, every person I met looked back at me from that rearview mirror. One day, we were in gym class. I was sitting on the sideline, behind the bleachers, with all the other lazy kids. We were just shaking our pedometers to get steps. And my friend, who has been homeschooled all her life, turned to me and she said, "Did you know that you are my first Middle Eastern friend and my first ever public school friend? When I first met you, I was scared that you were going to be a bad person." So I smiled, and I thought, is Marie looking back at me from the rearview mirror? 7 years ago, I decided to become a volunteer firefighter. I was the only female in a recruit school of 19 males. At one point, I was deliberating my own expectations, right? Was I up to the challenge? I thought that I didn't have anybody to speak to. And I didn't want to talk to any of the other male recruits because I thought, hey, they're going to think I'm too weak, right? To my surprise, it was the complete opposite. My brothers supported me. The amount of respect that each person exhibited each time they spoke to me or interacted with me in this department was not only humbling, but it changed the way I operate and think. One day, in the middle of January, after a long day of training, I was trying to lift this extension ladder, and you have to lift it by pulling down on this rope. I was tired. It was cold, my hands were cramping, my arms were tired, I was using them all day. So one of my brothers came up to me and said, hey, are you okay? And when I said, hey, I'm having trouble right now lifting this ladder, my arms are tired, but I'm trying to do it like the other guys. At that point, he taught me something no one has ever taught me before. He taught me that if I just simply put my weight into it, that I would lift the ladder without a problem and without tiring out my arms. He said, if you want to do something different in this world and you want to change this world, you better put yourself out there and figure it out. Now, every time I do something different and I figure it out, Firefighter McCullen looks back at me from that rearview mirror. With every engagement to better the community, with every interaction of service, and with every impact made, the community looks back at me from that rearview mirror. About a year ago, I started a hands-only CPR campaign. I started it because our call volume is increasing, and we have a limited career and volunteer staff. And every year, thousands of people will experience cardiac arrest. With each passing minute without CPR being performed, survival rates will decrease. So my goal is to help educate the community on how to properly call 911, what details are vital, and how to properly perform hands-only CPR, all to increase survival rates and to help people be recruited, right? When people see people like myself, they feel more comfortable venturing outside of their labels of comfort, and they want to do something different for their community. As I told my sister about this talk, she's right there, she helped me realize that the extension of oneself in service is one of the most powerful tools to sculpt society, revealing a magnificent body of humanity characterized by tolerance, charity, and the default modes of acceptance of others, making way to what makes the world a better place, the ultimate Amana. Who looks back at you from the rearview mirror? How far will you go? Have you done it yet? So do me a favor. Hail your cab. Venture outside of your labels of comfort. Be proud of who you are and help people who are different from you. Because one day, you will travel somewhere incredibly far, and you will do something so incredibly great that you will change the world. Thank you.